Well, with our nature studies, I think one of the things that makes it very valuable as far as education goes is, again, we're actually out in nature the whole time. We're not in a classroom. With our pond and freshwater ecology classes, we're going through the ins and outs of the food chain, what makes up the ecology of a pond, what's an ecosystem, what's a watershed. Those are some of the things that we talk about. Students actually get to see that right in front of them as opposed to just kind of reading about it in a book. Yeah, so with our Pennsylvania Woodland study, we're starting out in the woods, and we're going to be talking about, we use pelts to talk about some of the native Pennsylvania mammals that are found here. We have bird's nest, paper wasp nest, all kinds of things like that, to really talk about some of the things that you might just find if you're out on a hike out in the woods. We talk about plants, edible versus poisonous, and being able to actually go out in the woods and show students, hey, this plant is something that you could eat if you needed to, this one you would never want to touch. And kind of the second half of that lesson, we're actually going on a walk through the woods. We're even flipping over rocks and exploring things that we find, under rotten logs, whether it's a centipede or a millipede or a worm, and talking about how those animals and creatures are important, as well as the big mammals that are found throughout Pennsylvania. So the Reptiles and Amphibians nature study actually starts out in our outdoor nature studies area, and we will bring out about a dozen or so reptiles to kind of more formally teach about them. We go through the differences between amphibians and reptiles. We talk about venomous versus poisonous, because there is a difference there which many people do not realize. And we get to show a whole variety of lizards, turtles, snakes, frogs, things like that, both native to Pennsylvania and exotic, and the students get to interact with some of those animals. The second half of that lesson time is actually spent in our nature center with our zoological style exhibits that people can look at, and then the students get even more hands-on time in the nature center with some of those animals as well. I think the nature studies here at Refreshing Mountain are a great option for school groups. It gets students outside, and they're getting to learn about different branches of ecology and just environmental sciences in a very hands-on way. It's not really in a classroom, but they're still getting that sort of formal education that you would get in a classroom, just outside the whole time. So I think it's great for any school that's looking to learn more about the different subjects that we offer.